Bungoma mulembe, muri mwoyo, muri baramu, musangalile, mwami Yesu itomi ywe.
Anataja barabara, wakikuyu wanasema alikuwa anakuja mwangalia osho, sasa anakuja kwenu musangalile. That is the same script.
Kuna wengine tuliwapatia kazi because of incompetence, kwa sababu haelewi chochote, kwa sababu ni watu wa wizi.
Do you have the moral authority to talk about corruption?
Watu ambao ni matapeli.
And we shall make whatever sacrifices necessary to make sure that William Ruto is a one-term president.
And pia watu wengine wanatutisha huko jana. Ati our job is to make sure William Ruto is a one-term president.
Move, quickly. Jump, quickly.
I've had the worst year in business. 2024 was my worst year.
Oh, this is a God-given chance. You know, it's a moment that God has given us to save the nation. But are you doing it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Weekend Interview. It's your boy, Dan. And remember this Kamba podcast, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that because here we bring you a detailed show which covers the social life, political landscape and stories and whatever is happening in the world generally. And to our first story, we're talking about the raging war in Goma, which is the eastern part of Congo. All right. So fighting rages in Congo's Goma while embassies attacked in capital, according to an article by Citizen Digital, which I'm going to be reading to you. So this article shows a picture of Rwandan security officers, escort members of the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo who surrendered in Goma, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, following fighting between M23 rebels and the FARDC in Gisenyi, Rwanda on the 27th of January. The Kenyan embassy in Kinshasa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, has come under attack by what Foreign Affairs PS Korir Sing'oei calls marauding protesters voicing their discontent on the conflict in the eastern part of the country. 17 people have been killed as heavy battles between M23 fighters backed by Rwanda and Congolese government forces continue to rock the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The fighting has left many bodies on the streets, with hospitals struggling to deal with the growing number of casualties. President Felix Tshisekedi held a meeting with key leaders in Kinshasa to discuss the crisis as M23 rebels faced pockets of resistance from the army and pro-government militias. On January 27th this year, President Felix Tshisekedi convened a meeting with national leaders in Kinshasa to address the worsening crisis in eastern DRC. The M23 rebels, backed by Rwanda, have gained significant ground in Goma. Thousands of people have been forced to flee as the situation continues to deteriorate. Vital Kamerhe, I don't know if I pronounced that right, the Speaker of the National Assembly, who was also present at the meeting, confirmed that President Tshisekedi would soon address the crisis in the nation. The humanitarian situation is becoming increasingly dire as more people are displaced by the violence. Showing on your screen right now are photos from the demonstrations that have been going on in the eastern part of, or rather, that have been going on in Kinshasa, where we have citizens demonstrating and voicing their concerns about the ongoing conflicts and wars on the eastern part of the country. We as well have videos, so I'll play those for you as well. Those are videos from the demonstrations that were going on there. We had the embassy of Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Japan, US and France broken into by the demonstrators, and we have had reactions from government officers, including the president of Kenya. But before we get to that, I just want to, dive into the story that has been going on in Goma or in Congo for the longest time. We're talking about 30 years or 3 decades of fighting back to back with no relenting or with no team between the M23 and the government coming into terms or agreeing on common goals, which I think lastly happened in the year 2022 when they came to agreement. But we are seeing that a fight starting over again. Well, looking at facts, or rather the knowledge of whatever has been going on, Congo is a country that is rich in minerals, a lot of minerals in this case, and vital minerals that are used in a lot of industries and expensive minerals. And specifically the eastern part of Congo, which is the area in question in the whole thing here, or where the fights have been going on, is termed to be one of the areas yenye iko so rich in these minerals. Now, well, tunaweza sema the reason we have these fights back to back ni juu we have people who are struggling to get control over this rich place, ama over this mineral rich place. Na as a result, kumekuwa na back and forth, hizo fights going on. So we have some people who are saying that the M23 troops are being backed by Rwanda, which the president of Rwanda, Mr. Paul Kagame, has openly opposed, stating that there are no evidences or facts to support those statements that Rwanda is supporting the M23 troops. But from the look of things, unaona hizi troops zina push from the side of Rwanda as well as the side of Uganda. And these fights have been going on from, let's say, when there was that genocide, whatever, in Rwanda, which is about the same time when Kagame took a leadership, rose to leadership. And he has been the president of Rwanda for all this time when this fight has been going on, as well as Museveni, who has led Uganda for the longest time. So it wouldn't be questionable if someone stated that these two countries are in support of the fight, are supporting the M23 militias, who are part of the Congolese military, and I was watching a documentary the other day, and there was this witness who was talking about he was part of the M23 rebel groups, and he has joined several groups of the M23, and they were backed by Rwanda. So then inakushangaza mbona hawa watu wanasema they are not supporting while we have witnesses wenye wanasema wamekuwa wakisupportiwa na the government of Rwanda. According to the stories, na kulingana na venye hiyo base iko na hizo minerals and stuff, tuna expect kutakuwa na wars. We will have foreign governments zenye zitataka kucome in and kujoin in the wars to benefit from whatever is in the place. Kwa sababu ukituma troops zako in the name of pengine wameenda kusaidia, pengine they are going to calm the situation, while all what is taking them there is benefiting from the minerals that are there, then it means you're not really helping, because a war that has been going on for 30 years plus is no joke. And we need, there should have been a total stop to the war, these teams coming into agreement, and Congo really taking control of its people. Because as it is, there are claims that the militia of Congo is not in good shape because of the unrest in the country. And so we have top people in the military who are leaving the military to join the rebels, who in this case are referring to themselves as people who are fighting for their country, people who are fighting for the rights of the people of Goma, people who are fighting to get what is rightfully theirs. And in return, we have fights back to back. Because mi swali yangu kubwa ni, hawa watu wenye wanakaanga wakifight, wako kwa forest, wanapigana na the government, as they say. They are fighting the local authorities. Where do they get their funding? Where do they get food? Where do they get whatever? Because they will need to survive. You cannot be fighting for a year, for 2 years from a forest, and you talk about not having funding, not having people who are supporting you, not having people who are supplying you, because these people are constantly using bullets, they are constantly using bombs, grenades, and all that. They'll need supply. So I think these people are used by foreign authorities. They are funded. They go fight. They take the minerals, take control of the area, so they can sell the minerals themselves. All those sort of things. But then whatever is going on in Congo is a complete violation to human rights, because the people of Congo should be enjoying living in that place. Because imagine if they've been fighting for that years, that means we have a kid who was born and he grew up to be an old man while there is total unrest in his country. So I don't know what you guys feel about that story, but remember, you can always engage with us in the comment section. Tell us how you feel about the war in Congo, and what are your takes on the same? What do you think should be done to contain the situations? Now, back on what our people in Kenya had to say after the destruction of the embassy in Congo. But before that, the president had tweeted calling France for help with the war in DRC. William Ruto posted on Twitter, X, that was formerly Twitter, that is, that he has spoken to French President Emmanuel Macron on the situation in DR Congo. He said that Macron has expressed support for the regional efforts to deal with the challenge. He continued to state that Macron also committed his country's support for the interventions being carried out and for Kenya's participation in other peace initiatives in Somalia, Sudan, and South Sudan. There is a tweet from the Kenyan President William Samoei Ruto. The Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Musalia Mudavadi, also had a take on that, taken to Twitter to say that I strongly condemn the attacks on Kenya's embassy and personnel in Kinshasa by rioters protesting the conflict in eastern DRC. The violence, looting, and destruction also targeted Uganda's embassy with planned assaults on the South African, US, and Belgian embassies. In response, I engaged DRC's Foreign Minister RD Congo Mae. She acknowledged the incident and assured swift action, including compensation for damages to the embassy. It is deeply concerning that these attacks occurred in the presence of security officers without intervention. 2 Kenyan staff members were forced to flee for safety, despite the DRC's obligation under international law, including the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, to protect diplomatic missions and personnel. We expect immediate steps to ensure the security of our embassy and its staff. The PS for Foreign Affairs, Mr. PS Korir Singoei, also took to Twitter, saying that we are deeply concerned by the ongoing siege and attacks on the embassy premises and personnel in Kinshasa, DRC, including the Kenyan, Ugandan, and South African embassies. By marauding protesters who are voicing their discontent on the conflict in the eastern part of the country, this development is a serious breach of the international law, and we condemn it in the strongest terms possible. We call on the authorities in DRC to take appropriate action. Kenya stands with the DRC during this challenging time and will use all diplomatic means within its disposal to work with the rest of the region in the search for peace. We implore Kenyan citizens and business people to exercise caution during this period. At Foreign Office Kenya. And as always, you can engage with us in the comment section down below. Let us know what you feel about the same. But before I conclude on that, I would also need to mention this. The way we've seen Trump withdraw certain funding from, USAID and some of the policies that he has been putting in place since his reign in power, will also want to see these foreign governments withdrawing or stop meddling in wars that are in Africa. You see, you find a situation where there is a war in Somalia or there is war in Sudan, and you have US Army coming to help. You have France armies coming to help. I think they should also stop that, because then we can't really tell if they are helping or they are the ones in charge. Because, well, everywhere we have these fights is in countries in Africa where these countries are rich in, certain minerals or maybe production of oil. I mean, those are the only countries we see fights in. And then we have all these Western countries trying to, show their allegiance, their support, and how they are helping these countries. So I think they should let Africa be our business, and Africans should really stand up and fight for what rightfully belongs to them. Because, I think we also need to start doing our own manufacturing and doing our own stuffs, because they steal these things, take them to their countries, manufacture, sell them back to us. And in that way, that's how they gain their superpowers, if we are to say. If Africa was using its minerals to, manufacture and develop all these things, or if they came to build these manufacturing farms in Africa, so that then the African richness is going to benefit her people, and I think that will be a good move, instead of, all these orchestrating fights so that you can snuggle, gold and other minerals from African countries. Moving on to our second story, we have this ongoing story about second-hand car dealer Khalif Kairo, who was rearrested after attending a court session the other day. Popular city car dealer Joseph Kairo Wamboi, alias Khalif Kairo, was on Tuesday rearrested after shortly attending a court hearing for one of his other pending cases. Videos seen by Citizen Digital on Tuesday showed Kairo being escorted to a police vehicle minutes after coming out of the court. The renowned businessman allegedly received payment for an SUV but failed to deliver the vehicle to the buyer. The court heard that Kairo deceived Jeff Kule Monane between July 10 and July 29 in the year 2024 in Westlands. In Westlands, Nairobi, where his company Kai and Kairo Limited collected shillings 2,145,150 Kenya shillings under the pretense of facilitating the importation of a Honda Vezel hybrid from Japan, which was never delivered. In another incident, the businessman is accused of obtaining shillings 2.9 million from donor Ayalo Okoth through a fraudulent trick, claiming to be in a position to import a Subaru Outback. The second incident occurred in July of 2024, and detectives said the car has yet to be delivered despite being paid in full. During the hearing on January 13, 2025, the prosecution presented an affidavit from investigating officer Esther Mburu, who opposed bail on the grounds that Kairo is a significant flight risk. Citing his dramatic arrest 3 days before, the affidavit stated that granting bail would jeopardize the judicial process, claiming that Kairo's actions indicated a pattern of deliberate deception. The prosecution further pointed out that the accused has the means and potential to evade justice if released, citing his alleged history of involvement in fraudulent schemes. The court heard that the accused purchased an airline ticket on January 10, 2025, a day before his arrest, and was scheduled to fly to New York, USA on January 12, 2025. The police are said to have nabbed him after he allegedly failed to convince the victim that he was planning a trip to New York to secure funds and return to settle the matter. Showing on your screen right now is a video of a popular businessman being rearrested after attending a court session on Tuesday.
Enda mbele.
Hiyo tunashughulikia.
Hii ni different case madam. These are different case. Hii ni ya Chigwani. Yeye mwenyewe anajua. Sasa sisi tunaambia. These are different cases.
So we have we have Khalif Kairo, sorry, almost called him Karo, claiming that he incorporated a company, a parent company.
I think I'll start this video by saying that I've had the worst year in business. 2024 was my worst year. And we are still in very dire straits as a company, as guyandcaro.com. And there are a lot of stories online. I mean, I've been taken to court. We've been unable to deliver vehicles on time. And these are things that honestly really hurt me. I've been working day in, day out to try and secure investment for the company. Because it's good to note that I've brought guyandcaro.com to where it is. One of the most visited car sales website in Kenya, with around 1.2 million users and 15 million views, entirely single-handedly. I don't have a godfather somewhere. We are not funded by a big VC with never-ending funds. We've ultimately done most of these through God's grace, number one, and through the dedication, commitment of the team. But it's proven to be very difficult. However, I'm really not the type of person that gives up. For most people, this would be the point where they say, you know what, biashara imefika ngumu, probably going to file for bankruptcy, or just come up with a way of giving up or maybe shutting down the company. But I won't. I know I'm not the only person. I know I'm not the only business person in Kenya who's undergoing through all these things. There are very many people who are getting auctioned every day. Many reach out to me. There are very many people who can't pay their rent. The economy is not doing well. And as a young person, 28-year-old, running one of the biggest, car sales platforms in Kenya, it's also made us a lot of enemies. To those who can see through the noise, you can clearly see there's quite a persistent amount to paint us in bad light, to sabotage our brand image. But these things are not going to make me give up. And the next step for us is basically going global. And this is how we intend to do that. So past few weeks, past few months, we incorporated a company in the USA. And this corporation in the USA is going to carry the vision of guyandcaro.com. Guyandcaro.com is not just about selling cars. Guyandcaro.com is a lifestyle. It's an app that will control the entire customer life cycle. I want you to buy a car on guyandcaro.com for 300,000 shillings, 400,000 shillings. Get insurance on the app. Get financing on the app. Get spare parts on the app. And when you're done using the vehicle, bring it back to us. We buy it from you, still via the app, and sell it to another person. So we are creating a digital ecosystem of sorts for used cars. Something that I don't think has ever been done in Africa. Nobody has ever done this in Africa. And we are going to be the first people to do it. Now, I've realized that this vision, with the sort of attitude, with the sort of infrastructure, with the sort of mindset we have in Kenya, will not work. So that's why I decided to incorporate the company in the US. And now, we are going to open our company to any investor. Any person who wants to invest in guyandcaro.com can now do it. You will not be investing in a Kenyan company. You will be investing in a company in the US, regulated by American laws, regulated by American, operating under the American system with a global approach. And if we scale, we are still going to be backed by the financial muscle of the American system. So I've come up with a WeFunder page that I'm going to put a link in the description of this video. Click that link I'm also going to put a disclaimer in the description of this video. American laws require us to do that when you're crowdfunding for a company, but you can find more details about the campaign and about how much money we are raising, the terms that we are raising against on the WeFunder page. So I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to shut down. And I know that nobody who ever trusted my company is going to lose a single cent. I've had a 10-year run in business. We've built a big brand. We've changed many lives. And I don't think whatever I've experienced in the 6 months is going to make me relent. So press the link and let me know what you think in the comments.
In the US, that goes by the name Flex Mobility, ambayo itasaidia, kurun the whole thing. And so in the US, you can set up a WeFunder where you have people invest in your startup companies. And so that's what he did. And in a second tweet here, he claims to have gotten around 1.5 million in commitment for KaiandKaros.com US parent company in 2 hours, And, well, I'll say he has a vision. When you listen to him, the guy seems to have a vision. And it might be in the way of actualizing his vision. As much as you're viewing this thing from the angle of like this might be the fall of Cairo, you also need to view it in a different perspective. Like maybe this guy really sat down with people, really thought of bringing up the whole thing, and then he was put into test so that they can really see if he is capable of withstanding the waves, because diving into whatever he's talking about means it's going to be a really big thing in Africa, because like he is saying, there is nobody or there is no company that has done that before. And if he is going to make that possible, then it means a big growth in the car business, especially second-hand cars. So he might be testing the waters, or he might be being tested to see if he can really keep this thing afloat, as he is saying. And I can say he's doing really well. He's proven to be unshakable. He's proven to be strong. He's proven to, have the resistance to all these shockwaves, and he can, get out strong, regardless of whatever challenges he faces. So after those 2 tweets, Khalif Kairo launched a plan to raise 258 million Kenya shillings after business each. And there is an article about the same, which I'm going to read for you. On January 27th, Kairo announced that his company KaiandKaro.com, through its newly launched parent company based in the US, aims to raise $2 million in seed funding. Seed funding refers to the initial capital that early-stage startups raise to help them launch and develop their businesses. It is typically the first round of investment a company seeks, often before it has fully developed its product or established a strong revenue stream. According to Cairo, the decision to raise funds followed, in quotes, teething cash flow issues that have affected delivery timelines for imported used cars, threatened our public goodwill, and limited our growth. The business dealer further shared the platform under which he plans to raise the funds through regulation, crowdfunding, registration, CF. KaiandKaro.com's US-based parent company, Flex Mobility, seeks to raise $2 million in seed funding. This is a good investment opportunity, and apart from the significant financial benefits, you will be investing in the future of Africa and improving the lives of many through affordable mobility. In a statement issued on Wednesday morning, Cairo announced that his WeFunder campaign account, which held over 2.9 million Kenyan shillings, or $100,000 was closed the previous night. Cairo attributed the closure to a series of ongoing legal challenges he is currently facing, with the most recent being a case at the High Court of Kenya, Milimani Division in Nairobi. I'm currently in Milimani Law Courts and will be presented for plea taking shortly. Due to these legal issues, our WeFunder campaign was shut down last night after crossing the $100,000 or 12.9 million Kenya shillings mark, Kairo shared. The WeFunder account was opened by the car dealer on Monday this week and was approximately 24 hours old at the time of closure. However, our independent investigations could not independently verify the claims of his closure because of the privacy laws on financial account details. Kairo, who has faced numerous court battles over failed business deals related to car sales, spent much of the final days of the last year and early part of this year defending himself in court. However, he maintains that the mountain court cases stem from unrelated financial issues and continues to assert his innocence against the accusations. According to the car dealer, the ongoing cases which have negatively impacted his brand have also led to the closure of his offices. Quotes, "We have tried everything in our ability to try to resolve these issues amicably and ensure we do deliveries, but the negative media publicity and constant police involvement are putting us in deeper waters and severely affecting our ability to operate. All our offices are currently closed." Kairo shared, "I have an impressive 10-year run in business with 0 criminal cases pertaining to cars, and thousands of people have successfully bought cars from me." The businessman added, the boastful car dealer is known for his attention-grabbing online car sales, marketing stunts, which earned him a large following. However, some Twitter users took to the platform to, throw banter at the boastful businessman, claiming that whatever we are witnessing right now is a pride before a fall. In a tweet made by Khalif Kairo in the year 2022, it read, "A man should not beg, go work like other men," which was a response to a Twitter user who took to the platform to, beg for help after his things were notably not adding up or not going well for him. Now, 2 years later, in the year 2024, we have Khalif Kairo taken to the same platform saying, "Please, I beg you, donate anything you can. I'll be grateful." There's a guy here who calls himself the Kenyan Vigilant on that tweet that is showing right now on your screen. Akimwambia hapo, that was on 30th December 2023. "Hope you don't bring us a pay bill to kuchangie." This was after the guy was, flaunting lavish lifestyle online on the same platform. And this was his response. "My friend, stop confusing me with your broke ass that could not pay 20,000 cash bail and had to resort to begging money from politicians." Shenzi. We have another tweet here from the businessman. This one's on the 11th of October 2023, stating that a son's motorbike can feed, quotes, your family for 1 year. Imagine that. And now we have the same guy, coming online to beg for help from Kenyans. Well, I think I'll say one of our learn from history at Cairo, because whatever is happening is actually, as much as some of online users and might be bashing him and throwing banter as a team, we also need to learn from the same, because you cannot come boasting and just thumping online and showing us your lavish lifestyle and then later come to the same people asking for help. Unajua hii kiburi, by the way, ukionanga umemekita umekuwa ka celeb kidogo unaanza kuleta watu kiburi. I remember in an interview somewhere he claimed to be $1 billion worth. He claimed that his net worth was over 1 billion Kenya shillings. And actually, talking about that, I also saw someone alikuwa ametweet akisema huyu jamaa si auze ile Porsche yake, at least inaweza muondoa kwa hizi ngori, kwa sababu anadaiwa pesa kidogo, but 3 million 6 million ukipiga hizo summations. Akiuza Porsche na auze kitu kingine hapo 1 hata clear hii nini yote na atoke online, unless pia ni cloud chasing, kwa sababu we never know. actually saw someone saying haitakuwa ajabu ukiona after all these ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea online 2027 uone Kairo akitisha UMP ama UMCA mahali around Nairobi, because he's just trying to get attention. He has his own motives. He knows why whatever is happening, and he's never going to tell you the truth. So all you can do is speculate and have your own thoughts about what is happening in the Kairo's case. Leave me your comment. Let me know what you think about the same. And remember, don't boast, because tomorrow is never known. Okay, so for our third story, we have this issue of US, sending illegal immigrants back home, or the deportation story in the US, ambayo imekuwa ikiendelea, and so far wase wanachasiwa saini, wase walikuwa documented as of November last year, ama as of November 2024. The processes are still going on. When walikuwa wameapply citizenship, zinaendelea kuwa verified. Ukikatazwa, you have to go back home. And at the same time, Trump aliweka deadline of 20th February kama the last day of children getting citizenship by birth in the US. Na kwa hiyo kama wewe uko na ball saini uko majuu na utakuwa umedeliver by 20th, it means your kid hatakuwa a US citizen. And this thing actually imeleta noma, kwa sababu kuna couple fulani ilibidi wameenda C-section. Ikabidi wamefanyia operation, ndo at least by the time hiyo 20th inafika, huyo mtoto atakuwa kwa incubator, atagrow hapo. Hizo miezi zimebakia, itabidi amepush hapo kwa incubator, lakini cha maana ni amepata citizenship kwa sababu ashatoka kwa mama yake. You see how crazy people, ama how far people can go just to get this citizenship. But then I don't think it makes sense for your parents to have citizenship ya US alafu wewe hauna. Unajua hiyo kitu pia kuna vile yada. So kama msee yako huko amepata mtoi, anafaa tu aachwe mtoi akue na citizenship ya US. Juu sasa atakuwa na citizenship ya wapi? Hajazaliwa kwa country yake, akiamua kurudi kwa country yake pia itakuwa noma kupata hiyo citizenship. Kwenye alizaliwa ameambiwa hawezi pata, so unapata wewe mweka kwa crossroads. But then that is not even the story. So Wakenya nao watakuwa mamboki ni wherever they are, because after his story ilianza kuhappen, the Ministry of Immigration ili come forward, unajua ikasema ukiseti msee ama kama kuna mtu unajua mahali an illegal immigrant ambaye is not documented ama ana the rightful documents, then forward them to us, give us a call, and we are going to chota you $750. All right? So, a Kenyan nurse based in the US, anaitwa Nurse Judy, took to TikTok, talking about how Kenyans are snitching other Kenyans to get deported. Kwa sababu unajua mimi nikikuja huko na mimi ni Mkenya, obviously lazima tutajuana in one way or the other, ama tutameet alafu utaniuliza, "Yo bro, wewe uko na documentation, story yako iko aje?" Unajua? Alafu atakwambia pengine mimi ni Kemboi, sina documentation, mimi niko huku tu ile chini ya maji, And then kwa sababu sasa umejua this guy, unapigia authorities simu, unaambia unajua ni aje? Niko na wasi wawili mahali, simu nikanje hiyo do, nikeni hiyo do, niwape location yao, mahali wako and everything. I'll give you their details. And ni kitu embarrassing by the way. I don't think you should be doing that to a fellow Kenyan. I mean, unajua mkiwa in a foreign country, ukikutananga na mtu mnaongea lugha same, hata si lazima hata ikuwe majuu by the way. Useme wewe ni Mkase, umeenda Mombasa umekutana na Mkase mwenzako, it feels like home, it feels like this is your brother. So I don't see the point ya mbona uende to an extent ya kusetiu mse, unajua? It makes sense. Lakini let me just play that video. It's actually on Instagram, not TikTok, sorry. Let me play that video by Nurse Judy so you get to hear what she was talking about.
Yo, when I was doing content about America, the first thing I say, when you come here, fear Kenyans. Na siko ninasema in bad faith. Kenyans are good people, and especially when you are facing some challenges, they're going to come through for you. But also the same Kenyans wanaweza kuweka kwa trouble mpaka ukakaibu kasema yo kwa excited nikipata na Mkenya. But after kukaa hapa experience yenye nilipata ndio nikajua yo, if there are people you want to tread carefully with, is your own Kenyan. Sasa juzi kuna hii announcement imekuwa na Department of Homeland Security. Wamesema kama unajua mtumenyana makaratasi wana offer 750 to turn them in. And already nasikia Chicago kuna Mkenya ambaye amesha seti wa Kenya wawili na saizi wako on their way kuwa deported. Wakenya wenzako. So you can imagine ile temenya kukuanga na offer ya do, watu walikuwa na setiana Wakenya kwanza posti yato wamedeportiwa because ya Mkenya mwenzako kuseti. So no maana the first thing when nikuja kunikalanio kitu nilikuwa na kushunua tunamsema ukikuja ujue hauna makara. Zip it. Keep it to yourself until upate makaratasi. Na kudanga tu maswali ya kupeleza kujua kuko na makaratasi. And the next thing, whatever you say is gonna be used against you. Sasa wacha nikwambie kama ile time hakukuwa na pesa, walikuwa na seti watu. So you can imagine saizi wameofariwa if you turn in just one person it's 750. That's going to be business for Kenyans. Unajua Kenyans wanapendanga tu opportunity ya biashara. That's going to be business. Kenyans wanakurukanga kipetero kiyesu, wanakugeukanga design nyingine unataka unasema ule Mkenya mwenzangu ananifanyia hivi. Mkenya mwenzangu na expect and support anionyesha ma roots mapanya za kuingia hivi nifanye hivi ndio mpaka niomoke. Yo! Hey, it's about to be bad. It's about to be ugly.
We have another video by Malcolm ambaye alishare on his TikTok account aki-expose venye Mkenya fulani hapo aliseti mabeshte zake.
Machaji na manyonyo. Manzeta Trump hajamaliza siku 3. Wakenya hapa mshaanza kunini kusetiana jo. Ujamii naambianga majamaa, ukijua uko ngori una wapepa. Usiambia watu, cheza chini jo. Cheza chini manze. Sasa nikaambia majamaa, ama pia ikiwezekana ingia choche jo. Sasa hapa hivi Chicago, unajua Department of Homeland Security walisema ni aje, ukijua mtu ana mapepa ni aje, kuna hii namba wewe tudungie, alafu huyo jamaa tutamround, alafu wewe tunakupatia 7 jo. So kuna huyu mimi kwanza naenda kusema jina yake, Kennedy Mosora, umeseti nani Maslin Anyango na nani Mary Wamboi, umeseti hao makwela wawili jo. Sasa hiyo makwela wawili wamedandiwa leo Chicago jo. Unajua leo watu karibu 8 wamedandiwa USA jo. So msee amepigwa 7 chweza 2. Hii pesa ngapi? 1500 ama ni ngapi hata sijui. Jo, mimi nimesikia story jo, nimesikia udu. Alafu unajua ni aje? Mimi najua niliambia majamaa, ukijiona mapepa mtu wangu, kama uko na mali hapo kuna doni nini, eri ufikiri venye utazipeleka mtaa. Ukange tu hii area ukiwa tu rada. Unacheki? Si ati umedandiwa unapelekwa area bila kakitu. Sawa makweli wanapelekwa mtaa bila kakitu jo. Hivyo venye tu wako mtu wangu. Mmoja sijui amechapa hapa miaka 4, mwingine sijui amechapa miaka 6. Wewe niambie, usitake jua.
Jamaa kuna point. Ukijua uko na noma zako usiende ukipayuka kila mahali. Unajua mimi naishi huku na hata sinanga documentation. Mimi naishi huku sinanga nini. A day will come. Lakini unaona huyu jamaa, bado hiyo story ya kuseti makwela, unaweza pata huyu jamaa alisuka madem manzee wakamlenga. So jamaa akasema deni imefika, I'm sending you guys home, but this is the revenge you guys are going to get. But then this guy did a good job with exposing him. Manze amwambie Joe, you didn't do a good thing, because unaweza pata hawa si unatuma home Joe, hata hiyo time walikuwa wanaenda huko, they had maybe to sell a piece of land somewhere, to facilitate everything they wanted to get there. They have been, pushing hard, providing for their families. They've been the bread winners in their families, and you suddenly send them home. That's a frustration to a whole village, not even a family, to a whole village, So be careful manzi. Achana na msee kama atapatikana yeye peke yake acha patikane, lakini si ati wewe unaamua tu kupiga simu sema huyu jamaa hapa ananga pepaza, huyu jamaa ananga nini. Tabia zingine pia muachange bana. Si nini ati jo story hata ni mbaya bana. Story haileti shangwe. But then stay woke, don't overshare whatever you're going through. Don't overshare whatever is happening in your life, because we have a lot of people who don't really want to see you win. All right. Okay, so enough of the American story. wenye wako huko juu, you guys need to be careful. Na pia ukirudishwa home nakuja tunang'ang'ana na kasongo juu sasa hii pia cannot be running away from your own countries to go flourish in other countries when you can as well flourish back home. All right, come, let's build Kenya. Let's build a amicable country where we can survive and be proud of being Kenyans in Kenya, not being proud of being a Kenyan in another country. So back home, we're trying to put things in order. We're trying to, make things good so that hata wenye watadipotiwa wakirudi wanapata. We are in a well-running democracy. We are in a good country. We're in a country that is fit for everybody's survival. So the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, is on the race to, unite other leaders ahead of 2027 general elections, where their main goal is to send the incumbent home. I'm talking about Mr. Ruto. So, the start of this week, Mr. Gachagua met Mother Karua amid talks of new alliances to unseat Ruto in 2027. Mr. Gachagua has vowed to work with the NARC Kenya party leader, where on Saturday, when he met Karua, that is actually, it was not this week, it was the previous week on Saturday, at her home in Kirinyaga, he said that he will regularly consult Karua going forward because of extensive experience in politics, and he knows that they are really going to benefit from the experiences, from the advices that they are going to get from Karua. He didn't stop there because he was also invited when the Democratic Action Party of Kenya, DAPK, was launching its new headquarters. This is a party that is led by one Eugene Wamalwa, and they posed for a photo where you can see the former Vice President, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. We have the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, Eugene Wamalwa, among other leaders who also attended the function. There was Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka and the former United Democratic Alliance Secretary General, which is UDA, the leading party, Cleophas Malala, Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya, and journalist Tony Gashoka. But then Cleophas Malala has been a close ally of Rigathi Gachagua since both of them were sent out, were kicked out of the ruling party. And as they say, an enemy of your enemy is your friend. So we really expect that to be happening. The meeting from afar signals that we might be expecting an alliance between the former DP and a host of opposition parties, majority of which were in the Azimio coalition. And we hope this time we're going to get something that is really, going to work. Kwa sababu hizi coalitions pia zinajengangwa, alafu at the end of the day hakuna hata kitu tunaonanga ikihappen. Well, as much as they did not talk about forming a coalition, hizi ni speculations tu zenye watu wana make. Naweza pia nikasema pengine they were doing that to get the views from Kenyans. Politicians are very good at playing tricks at us. Wakishapose for that photo, they know that you guys are going to make speculations. Mtaanza kubalance out, mseme hii na yezi enda mahali, hii inaweza fanya hivi, inaweza fanya hivi. They'll collect the info and then they are going to use that to form a coalition that is for the people and that the people are going to love. Because I think coalitions are not just based on the decisions of the leaders, but from whatever the public is interested in, and they also must factor these as much as they want to foster coalitions going forward. So Mr. Gachagua on that day launched an onslaught on President William Ruto, accusing him of a short memory. He accused the president of putting aside the plan that they had before they took power in the year 2022 through the bottom-up economic agenda. He continued to state that after President entered State House, he removed whatever little was in people's pocket instead of empowering them. Yani, in short, jamaa zile vitu alikuwa wametuahidi mingi, nothing came to pass, na ile kidogo tulikuwa nayo ile alitupata na yenyewe pia akaamua kuchukua, which is terrible to say, man. It's terrible, because why would you do that to your own people? Why would you do that to your own people? Yani unaambia watu hii jioni utawaletea chipu, you see, alafu ile kagideri kidogo alikuwa amebakisha home, ukifika unakuja bila chipo, na ile kagideri ilikuwa imebaki pia unakula. Inakuwa ni noma, inakuwa ni tough bana. So Gachagua amekuwa kikimbiza Mr. President mbaya sana, and if you have been following on whatever has been going on, we have the likes of Kinakabogo, the likes of Sudi, who are throwing banters at the former deputy president. But this guy is so sharp that he doesn't even concentrate on these guys. Akianzanga kugonga yugonga, prezo mwenye agongangi hao wengine wenye wako huku chini wanamgonga. Akianza kurespond yana respondianga the top guy. So I think if Ruto was wise enough, the best thing to do is keep quiet, because you know they say elephant ikienda kukunywa maji aishtuli yangu na tusauti toa wanaitanga crocodile sound, chura anaitangwaje, frogs, sauti ya frog haifai kushtua elephant eti ashindwe kunywa maji. Lakini elephant wetu akisikia hata kandege kameli hapa kando juu anashtuka mbaya sana, unapata maji hawezi kunywa in peace. So I don't know what you guys think about Gachagua. Is he really doing the right thing? Ama he is starting to get out of lane, but I would say nigga is doing a good job. He's being truthful, and that's what we need. But then if he is to make the next government, ama if he is to be part of the next government, we still want him to, continue being as truthful as he is right now. So below right now playing is Gachagua's speech on that day.
So anaenda pale Western anasema tumefukuza huyu Rigathi Gachagua and he is corrupt. William Ruto, my friend, do you have the moral authority to talk about corruption? And we sympathize with you because juzi kumekuwa na opinion poll on the most corrupt person in the world, and we are unhappy that you are rigged. Instead of giving you number one, they give you number two. Let me say
yeah, so right there is Rigathi Gachagua. Wasema ukianza kuongelelea watu corrupt, kwanza unajiangalia kwa kioo, alafu unaanza na wewe mwenye wako hapo kwa kioo. You simply know what that means. You can make your own interpretations, but then I'm loving how this is unfolding, and President Ruto is as well responding through his people, and ye mwenyewe pia ana respond. So on the 29th of January, this was days after the launch of the DAPK new headquarters. Kindiki alienda kwao na huku hivi Tharaka Nithi, ambako alikuwa na meet leaders wa Tharaka Nithi, and he had to respond to Gachagua's claims of Ruto is going to be a one-term president. So speaking during the consultative meeting with leaders from Tharaka Nithi, Kindiki wondered why making Ruto a one-term president could excite some leaders when he has already achieved a lot. In quotes, he said, I saw some guys saying how their singular motivation is to make William Ruto a one-term president. Really? And then, how can that be your motivation as a leader? He posed. His statement was a direct response to his predecessor and impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who spoke on that lounge on Monday. Yeah, he pledged to work with all Kenyans to challenge Ruto's administration and make any chance of his re-election in the 2027 general election unlikely. In quotes, we shall be selfless as a team and let us not approach these elections with a predetermined mindset that it has to be my way. We need to sit down and do a proper arithmetic so that we do not fight each other. This journey is not for the faint-hearted. We do not have money to buy fear, but with great leaders, we will work together to unveil a national movement, he affirmed. Here is a video of him talking in Tharaka-Nithi.
So usitutishe ati rais a one-term president. And pia watu wengine wanatutisha huko jana. Ati our job is to make sure William Ruto is a one-term president. That is your objective. Hiyo tu. Just that. And you will have achieved a lot. President Ruto is lucky to be among the 5 Kenyans who have occupied the seat of President of Kenya. Some, 24 years. Others, 10 years. If he gets 5, so be it. If he gets how many days, so be it. Mimi nimekuwa naibu wa rais. Today is the 89th day in office. I am working as if this is it. Hakuna siku ingine ni hii tu. That's how I'm working, because you don't know. We live and work by the grace of God. There was somebody in this office. Today he's not here. Now he's giving us ultimatum from funerals. How he will make William Ruto a one-term president. As if that is an achievement. William Ruto's objective is not to serve for 2 terms. It is to use the time that God will give him in office to bring transformative programs in 1, 2, 3 areas and then leave so that other people can come and take Kenya forward. As his principal assistant, that is my objective too, to support him. So musikuja kututisha na one term, my friend.
Yeah, so that's the current deputy president, Mr. Kindiki. They are stating that, he's trying to bring that narrative that Mr. Ruto had back then during his campaigns about, oh, this is a God-given chance. It's a moment that God has given us to save the nation. But are you doing it? He's talking about he will use the time that he is in the presidency to change a few things, to foster a few things to change, the republic. But then, is he doing it? Is he really doing it? But then, I'll also say that one of the biggest problem with our president is that he likes talking a lot, And as a leader, I think at times it's good to let your actions speak for you. It's good to do things and then people will talk. They'll say, yo, this guy's been doing this and that. President has been doing this and that. But he's so invested in promising. Let me give an example that we can all relate to, like that of a girlfriend. When you start promising your girlfriend a lot of goodies, a lot of good things every now and then, telling her you're going to take her out on expensive dates, or you're going, to pay for flights, or you're going to fly out of the country, while you have no proper plans of how you're going to execute all these things. Because you cannot be talking about paying a first-class air ticket seated in your bed sitter with no plan of how you're going to get the money to pay for this flight. And, after you promise this lady whatever you've promised them, they're going to expect it. You've, tuned their minds to expect that. So the president has been promising Kenyans a lot of stuff, and Kenyans are eagerly waiting for those things to happen. But then he doesn't seem to have a mechanism, or a working, whatever, to accomplish his promises. And that's where his problem starts. That's the bottom line of his problem. Promises after promises. Even after elections, promises after promises. This has been the week in review. And as always, remember, you can engage with us, talk to us through the comment sessions. Follow us on our socials. That is Kamba Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And be sure to subscribe, like, share, and hit that notification bell here on YouTube so you can be notified when we upload other episodes and interesting contents like this. Goodbye, my people. That's all for this week. See you around.